Have you thought about where you want your homestead to be this time next year? It's easy to have this thing that you want really, really badly and to think that you're working towards it. But as seasons shift on your homestead, you'll be intensely focusing on different things. All of a sudden, months have gone by and you haven't made much progress towards your goal. And it's not about being more disciplined or being a high achiever. It's about taking an idea from your head, putting intent behind it, and making a plan for it to happen. Corey's gonna join me in a bit to talk to you guys about our 2023 homestead goals. But first, I wanna take you through a super easy 4-step process to create goals that you're much more likely to achieve. Hi, I'm Amanda from Rockpile Off-Grid Homestead, and today we're talking goals, how you can make them, and what our goals are for 2023. And the reason why we make goals is because one of the best ways to not achieve your goals is to not make any. This is just like an easy, organic way to get those goals that are in your head and actually start working on them. Not a smart goal, there's just 4 easy steps, and I'm going to run you through them. Number 1 is reflect. Take the time to imagine and dream. And this looks different for everyone. Corey is inspired by doing. So for him, action gives him ideas. For me, I like to let things percolate. So I might look for more information or images to help get me inspired. Word of warning though, don't get bogged down in the practicalities, because getting into too much detail at this stage can kind of stifle your ability to think big. Then step 2 is where you set intent. This is where you articulate your goals. You're taking those distant, foggy ideas and you're starting to form them into something more solid. It's how your unconscious mind knows that you're serious, because otherwise, how do they know the difference between one crazy idea and another? You need to bring it to the forefront, and to do that, you do some sort of physical and conscious thing to bring those ideas to life and imbue them with intent. That could look like record yourself talking about them, write them down, create a vision board, whatever works best for your brain. Just turn them from an idea into something that exists in this kind of physical universe. And as a side note, at this point, it might be good to test, say, some of the shorter term goals you're thinking about against some of your longer term goals, like a 1-year goal. Test it against your 5 to 10 year goals, just to make sure you're kind of on the same track and they're actually helping you towards those longer term goals. And that brings us to step number 3, which is planning. It's time to break down the steps you need to get to your goal. And we start at that end point and then we work our way back. But in your plan, you only add the super fine details to the next couple of steps. Let the things further down the track remain a bit fuzzy, because circumstances might change and you want to be flexible and responsive to whatever's happening on your homestead. And you can use whatever medium you want for this. You can write it in a spreadsheet, you can write it in a document, you can use a pen and paper, you can put it on an app in your phone, you can, whatever works for you. For example, I might have a detailed outline written down in my journal and then I transfer that to a document, whereas Corey just has a to-do list on his phone. It's important that it works for you. Do not let creating a plan get in the way of you executing it. Okay, 4, action. You got to actually do the stuff. You've planned your next steps, like just your next couple of steps. Now it's time to do them. I'm thankful that Corey is an action-oriented person because I'm a planner and I can analyze myself to a dead stop. So if that's like one of your weaknesses, be honest with yourself and make sure you are intentional about taking action that you've planned. And then there's like an unofficial 5th step, which is really just circling back around to the reflection step. Once you've started taking action and you're moving towards those goals, take time to reflect on how well that's working. So you need to be ready to adjust things if you need to, but you also have to be kind to yourself. Because sometimes if you're feeling a bit of resistance moving towards a goal, it's not necessarily a failing on your part. It might be the force behind your kind of unconscious intent is gently guiding you on a different path that better suits your needs. So listen to yourself, trust yourself, and that's why this revisiting the reflection stage is so important. So just to recap, first you reflect, which brings those big ideas up out of your heart and your brain and wherever they've been kind of sitting and waiting to see the light of day. Step number 2 is setting your intention. You want to take those ideas and make them into something physical so they're not just staying as a fuzzy idea in your brain, because that's going to be much more difficult to actually take steps to achieve. Step 3 is you need to plan, okay, but don't get stuck in the planning phase. Start at the end, work your way back, and only plan out in detail like your next couple of steps. Step number 4 is taking action. You got to do the thing. Okay, do the thing, and then we're back around to reflection and we're reflecting on what we've done. So now what I'm going to do is I'll get Corey in here with me and we're going to run through some of the goals we've made for our homestead for 2023. It's going to be more like of a conversational type thing, so just hang out with us and see what we're planning.
I have been summoned to the office.
To talk about our goals 2023.
Yes, so I've made myself look beautiful, did my hair, got a cup of coffee.
Yes, I got a water.
And I've got a dozer who's...
I'm going to need my glasses for this.
Okay, I don't need them yet.
Oh, they're kind of smudgy.
Hi, I'm Corey.
I'm Amanda.
And we are from Rockpile Homestead. It's 2023.
Already.
So first of all, we've had quite a bit of an influx of new subscribers. We just want to say hello and thank you for subbing to our channel.
Welcome.
And hopefully you guys will hang around and kind of see some of the stuff that we get up to around here.
Yep.
Including our dogs, which you can't see, but they want some attention as well.
We need like dog cam.
Dog cam.
Hello, darling.
Hi.
Hello. So today we're going to be talking about our homestead goals for 2023.
Yes.
For Rockpile Off-Grid Homestead.
Rockpile Off-Grid Homestead. Yes. Don't forget that bit. Most important. Okay.
So I've just run you through how to create a goal, and this is what we did during that process. So the reflecting time, like a couple of weeks before Christmas, we kind of both said, let's have a think about like what we want for next year, what's important to us, and we just gave ourselves time and space to just think about it ourselves. And then between the Christmas kind of New Year period, we were making plans, and
we had like a little meeting, didn't we?
Yeah, well,
you and me.
Yeah, and we talked about it a lot. Like we started like talking out loud about our ideas and kind of seeing which ones matched up, and
And surprisingly, our ideas kind of overlapped and mingled, didn't they?
Yes. I mean, isn't that surprising?
Well, no,
I don't know.
Really. No, maybe not.
But no, it was nice to see that independently, we're kind of focused on the same
outcome.
Yeah, on the same outcome.
Yeah.
So we're just going to like run through and talk about the things that are most important to us that we've set down as goals.
All right, so one of the important things to us, trying to become more sustainable, I suppose, and take responsibility for our own inputs into this world, is waste. Like, we generate, as humans, so much waste. It's unbelievable, just the stuff that gets chucked out.
Yeah.
And we're not just talking food waste. We're talking waste of every description. You know, appliances, materials, like just the amount of stuff we throw out is mind-blowing. Our first goal for 2023 is... What are you doing, Nico? Oh, yeah. God, dogs, distractions. Our first goal for 2023 is waste-free 23.
Hashtag waste-free 23.
Hashtag waste-free 23.
And I want to say that this isn't about starting today or starting at the beginning of the year and being waste-free for the entire year. It's about spending 2023 learning how to reduce our waste and becoming waste-free through educating ourselves and changing our behaviours, basically.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to start with the simple ones: cardboard, cans, plastics, because we're lucky enough to have a good recycling place in our little town, so we can take all this stuff there.
It's not just about recycling, though. It's about finding ways that we can reduce the amount of waste coming in.
Oh, the inputs.
And then by like eliminating things or like finding an alternative to things. That's but true. Like you mentioned the cardboard. Okay, so how that doesn't have to leave our property. How do we use that elsewhere on the homestead? Yeah. For composting or for like laying down garden beds.
Yeah.
So there's lots of options there. It's just being aware of it. You know, seeing it come in, and part of being aware of it is making a list. I already actually started making a list of, like, as we're generating waste, like making a list going, oh, okay, that's a can. That's a milk bottle. How do we, that's like a plastic packaging that had oats in it. You know, it's about going, okay, well, for the oats, maybe we can find a place to get them in bulk. So even if it's still coming in some sort of packaging, the packaging is reduced rather than smaller packaging.
We're limiting the amount of essentially packaging for the produce.
Yeah. So it's just about working through that. Can we recycle it? Can we reuse it? Can we eliminate it? Can we find an alternative? Yeah. And just working through bit by bit, educating ourselves, changing our behaviour.
That's right.
Looking to you guys, seeing what other homesteaders and self-sufficient people are doing, because I know there's lots of people that are much further along on this kind of like waste-free journey. So that for us is a big focus for this year. Yep. Hashtag waste-free 23.
Are we just going to are we here?
Yeah.
Okay, so create soil. Rather than buying soil in, why not try to create your own mulching system, compost system, use what you've got type thing, rather than spending money and trying to get truckloads of stuff brought in. Try and use your own stuff you've got. I mean, we're lucky enough, we have like 100 acres of land and we have so many fallen trees, branches, like in winter when we mow and stuff, there's so much green matter. This time of year, there's so much like brown matter for the compost. It's just everywhere. But admittedly, we don't have a good system set up to start our own compost.
Yes, because we've composted before and it's just been in bits and pieces here and there. Yeah. We don't have an established place to do it. We don't have, like Corey said, a system. We have mulched before, wood chipped our various materials on here before, but that was with a hired wood chipper, and we're maybe looking at
purchasing a wood chipper,
purchasing one, and making that part of it kind of our ongoing. Yeah. Like this. Yes, I know this stuff sounds basic, but remember that we are 2 years into our homestead and we've spent a lot of that time taking it from like a bare block to building something to live in.
Yeah.
And we've been doing bits and pieces of this stuff over time, but now it's like we've got a place to live in, we've got a bit of breathing room.
Yeah.
Let's make this into actually a system for our homestead.
Yeah. And just for the new people that may be watching, when we purchased this land, it was vacant land. There was nothing on it at all. So we've had to build with our own 4 hands.
Not 4 hands each.
I wish I did sometimes.
He does.
All right, but we've built every piece of fence, shed, house, infrastructure, dug every hole for every tree. We've done everything ourselves, from vacant land to what you see here. And yeah, like Amanda said, we're kind of at a stage now where we can start focusing on our other goals, which are like starting compost and doing like our actual veggie garden.
Yeah.
How we've thought about it for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's a good segue.
Isn't it? Veggie garden makeover is big on the list for 2023.
Yes. This is a massive thing. We've had a veggie gardens.
Yeah.
Since we've moved here, like randomly, seasonally.
Yeah.
We had a great garlic harvest, but it's always been kind of temporary because the area allocated for the veggie garden, that's where our donga was, where we actually like lived.
Yeah. Lived for 9 months.
Which is a big structure.
We built the house.
Big structure with like deck and that
little
sort of
roof
thing.
And all sorts of stuff. So.
And so like.
But one of my goals for 2023 was to move the donga and its associated bits, like the deck and the roof and that. And that actually happened in 2022.
Yes.
So I moved the donga and then put it up for sale, and the next day it was sold and gone.
So that was gone before New Year's.
Yeah. So we actually talked about moving this. We've been talking about it for a while. And it's quite a process. It's very, very heavy, and it's very, very awkward.
Yeah.
And I got to the point where I just sort of said, stuff it. Let's just skull drag it out of there with the excavator and see what happens to it. And
it was surprisingly easy.
Smooth.
You know, we had built. Okay, so I think we'd kind of built it up as like mentally as this bigger thing than it needed to be.
This great big hurdle that it was like, oh my God, that's going to be so difficult.
And that was like almost an imaginary block we built for ourselves.
Yeah.
But it was gone so easily, and it's actually, I don't know, like.
Oh, I personally feel like it's a big mental relief. Is that
like a weight or something?
Yeah, like it's like because it was such a big part of our life for 9 months. Like that was our house, right? And now we wanted it gone, but it was like it's just so much.
The transition was difficult
to like get it gone.
I think mentally it just seemed like there was so much more there, but it was just a structure.
Yeah, and it was actually,
and we got it out of there.
It was only took what, an hour?
Yeah, I mean, you did. Corey did like
a bit of prep the day before,
a bunch of prep, like a bit of prep, like half a day's worth of prep. Yeah. But when we went out there to move, it was like only an hour or so.
Yeah. So that's massive for us. Then.
Yeah. And in that area, there's like other like bits and pieces that need to be cleared out. So there's a bit of prep work. We've had the chickens in there scratching around and like.
They've done such a great job.
Great job. Put your chickens to work because they've been awesome. And and the whole like making over the veggie patch, starting from scratch. We'll record it. It will be a YouTube series. Yeah. We need to like do all the plans. We're going to get you guys to help us with the plans. We're going to be building infrastructure, things like shade, like to help with our Aussie summers because they're really harsh here. That will extend our growing season, which will essentially be all year round.
Yeah.
So
that should be a pretty good like video series, I imagine.
Yeah.
If I manage to record it successfully.
And it's because we're going to be building stuff. Oh, and we're going to be building our compost space in there as well.
That's true. Yeah.
Because the veggie patch is right up against near where the chickens are. And we've kind of got this flow between like the chickens helping us making compost, our compost area, and then like the veggies, and then we can access it like quite easily from the house, and then it works in with kind of the homestead zones.
I think when that time comes, we'll do like a bit of a coloured in little sketch.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
And just do like a little photograph of it and just show like the...
So there's a lot to talk about in regards from that, like starting out from scratch. So we're excited about that.
And because of our knowledge or lack of when it comes to growing consistent vegetables all year round, that's going to be a massive learning curve as well.
Yeah, so for this climate, and I'll tell you what I miss. I so miss having that regular kind of seasonal produce that Corey would bring. Corey's like the veggie patch guy. And like every week or, a few nights a week, he'd bring in these like big bowls of this is what's growing at the moment. And like cooking and eating seasonally, like I really miss that, because even though you look for seasonal stuff like in the supermarkets, it's not the same. It's not the same as growing yourself. It doesn't taste the same.
And that would sort of dictate our meal planning for the week.
Yes.
Depending on what I brought in, whether it was like a heap of greens or a heap of like sort of, like fruiting vegetables, or, that'd sort us out for the week. Okay, well, we'll throw some chicken with that, some steak with that, stir fry with this, and, it was a great way.
How many different ways can you eat zucchini?
Yeah, well, I can tell you a lot.
Well, this flows on quite well from our last one. This one is preserving. Okay, so this was one of my big things. This is one of my big things. It kind of ties in with that seasonal produce and preserving produce at the height of its freshness. Like before we came here, I did preserving and I was learning skills. And then when we moved, all my jars are packed away in boxes. So
in the shed. Tons of them.
So all that stuff has just been packed away, and it's time to get it back out again. Learning new skills to like preserve the harvest. I've never done pressure canning before. I want to learn how to do that. So there's lots of stuff involved in that. And even if we're not growing enough to preserve, finding ways to get seasonal produce from growers.
Yeah, in like bulk.
And preserving that. So yeah, it is a focus this year for that. And I've already made progress on that one as well. I actually bought a steam canner.
Yes, you did.
I've seen like Nissa from Our Small Footprint, and also Rachel from Bush Edge Homesteading Australia. They've both used them, and as soon as I saw it, I'm like, I want that.
Oh, they make so much sense.
Okay, so not to be confused with a pressure canner. This is a steam canner is a water bath canner, but it uses much less water. So you put the water in a reservoir down the bottom, and it's got a big kind of tin lid, and you and it's for like high acid foods, and then you kind of water bath in the steam. Yep. So being water conscious, saving water, and also avoiding like the awkwardness of lugging around like big pots,
like a big heavy pot of water,
and then like if you want to reuse that water because you don't want to waste it, waiting for it to cool, and then like lugging it out to the gut is just okay. So I'm excited about that. Canner. So that's the preserving.
Yes.
And obviously that's something that I will take you guys along with me.
A little journey.
Because there's some stuff I know how to do, and there's some stuff that I'm going to be learning how to do.
And always learning.
Yes, always learning.
Yep.
Number 5.
Oh dear. Yeah. We want to try and start. Well, not we want to try and start. We're going to start our meat production.
Yep.
And we're going to start with chickens.
Yeah, so we're building up our like core flock of dual purpose chickens.
Yep.
And we will get a suitable dual purpose rooster to hang out with our ladies. And basically they will be our primary kind of egg layers. And our core flock produce the eggs, and then however many times a year, like once or twice a year, we will incubate a batch, brood it, and then raise it up for processing.
Yeah.
Our first lot that we're going to be processing will be the roosters from this current batch we've bought. They're only coming on to maybe about 20 weeks now.
Yeah.
And we've got a few roosters in there.
I think there's
anywhere
6.
between, maybe anywhere. I know there's at least 2, anywhere up to 6.
Yeah.
And they will be like the first batch that we're going to try processing.
Yes.
And this is also a good opportunity for us to see how long we need to grow them out before they're suitable for processing. The breed we've got is Australorps, which is an Australian dual purpose breed. And so it'd be good to see how long it takes them to...
How they go.
Yeah, how long it takes them to grow out. And we might not get an Australorp rooster. We might get like another type of dual purpose rooster.
Big rooster.
Big one.
But friendly.
Well, we did consider like the Brahma, but then I'm also interested in like Buff Orpingtons, so we haven't decided 100% yet.
Yeah.
Haven't decided, because the only concern I have with like a big rooster is it might extend our growing out time. So instead of 20 weeks, we're like harvesting them at 30 weeks and then,
Yeah, that's true. So
that's what we've already made steps towards that. And we'll move forward with that. It involves buying some equipment, setting up a brooding area, and getting comfortable with like processing. So the whole system around that.
If you want to eat it, you've got to do it.
Yeah, no, I'm excited.
That'd be great. That'd be good.
I'm excited to have our own chickens.
And then from chickens, we want to expand into
larger livestock.
Cows. Moo.
Expand into moo.
End goal is a small herd of cattle that is rotationally grazed around our property.
And having that, building the infrastructure for like the larger livestock animals so they can like come and go easily, holding pens, like shelters, that sort of thing will give us options around like other livestock if we want to, like, in the future, pigs or sheep. Not that I particularly like sheep because they have no personality. And stuff like that. So just setting up so we're ready for that. Yes, we have these goals. Yes, we've started on them. We've started doing the things on them. A lot of them are, I think it's a good balance between realistic and some of them have got like stretch goal aspects. But there is potentially a challenge this year that might impact our ability to do certain things on the homestead. So
it's my fault.
It's Corey's fault. So he's mentioned it a few times, and we have like done a video where he talks about it a little bit more in depth. But Corey has a like.
I've got
like a dodgy foot. Yeah.
I've got a dodgy foot.
An old injury with screws and plates and stuff.
Left foot is dodgy, and basically I'm getting a full ankle fusion done. When you have it done, you can't weight bear that on that foot for many, many weeks, and there is like a quite lengthy rehabilitation process. So it could be anywhere from 6 weeks before I'm in a moon boot with light weight bearing, and then it could be several months before I'm walking around freely with no moon boot, and then it could be a couple of months after that before I'm kind of walking like normal again without pain. So that's going to put a few things on hold.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll bring you along for that journey, and I'll do some camera footage of me laid up in bed for 6 weeks.
No, we probably won't do that.
No, we won't.
But depending on where we're at on the homestead, then, I'm going to, I'll still be working and I'll be picking up kind of Corey's tasks, and then there'll be
someone's got to keep working.
Extra care tasks looking after Corey.
Yes.
So that might be, and that's a good point. Like, when you're setting goals, it's important to reflect on what might potentially stop you from achieving them, and just plan for that, and just go, okay, this might pause me, or this might stop me, or this might just, make it take longer, and just go and just be aware of that that's going to happen, and
that's right.
you can
And
plan.
it's life. It's just real life. You know, like it's just what it is.
Yeah.
And if anyone would like to send me like a little bell, just I can put next to my bed on my little drawers there.
Do not send him a bell.
We'll.
I'll burn it. That will go straight into the waste.
Recycled.
Yeah, recycled. I'll take it down to the op shop. All right, I think we're just kind of waffling now, so maybe it's time to wrap up.
I think, that's it.
But thank you so much for joining us, and we're really keen to hear what your goals might be for 2023 as well. So leave something in the comments, or like if you've made a video of it, let us know. And
Sounds good. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
See ya.